Hi, welcome to ITG's Listen and Learn. My name is Ginger Turner, and I recently retired from 27 years of playing the trumpet in the United States Army Field Band. Great career, lots of concerts, lots of fun. My topic today is going to be prepare to win, whether that means winning an audition, winning a job interview, or even winning a chair test. It all comes from appropriate, proper preparation. So I'm going to break it down into 4 different categories for you today. The first is preparation preliminary. Second one, the process. Third, execution of your plan. And fourth, follow-up. During my time with the Army Field Band, I had an opportunity to sit on a lot of audition panels. First as a trumpet player, then as a brass group leader, then as the non-commissioned officer in charge of the whole concert band. So I heard every audition that we had for 8 years. So when I look back over that span of time, I came up with a lot of these little tips that we're going to go over today to prepare you to be as successful as you can possibly be. So category 1, the preliminary work. You got to make a plan. Now, part of that plan may include communicating with the organization that you're looking for a job with. You want to be concise. You want to make sure that all your written materials adequately represent you. And by written materials, I mean resumes, texts, emails, Twitter, however you're communicating with them, ensure that everything is properly capitalized, everything is punctuated. There's no slang, LOL. There's no slang. This is appropriate professional communication with anyone you are looking to interview by, audition for, or work for. Second would be the opportunity to have an in-person interview. You need to be professional. You need to be appropriately dressed, and you need to be prepared with information about the organization. Go on the internet, research who works there, who's in charge, what names are they called? Is it Mr.? Is it Doctor? Is it Colonel? Is it Captain? Is it Sergeant? Make yourself a little cheat sheet with all those names, and then when you meet them, you'll have a much easier time remembering who they are. And lastly, on the preliminary setup work, be on time. There are probably deadlines. It's a lot easier to be early than it is to be late. It takes a lot of your creative energy to run to the post office at 11 o'clock at night. It doesn't take any of your energy to have done all that work the day before. The person who's early generally gets the job. The last guy's audition tape that came in the door 24 hours after the deadline, not really interested in what he or she has to offer because they're not professional. All right, the second category I outlined in the beginning was process. What is the process to get ready to be your best self on audition day or interview day? There are a lot of ways to practice, and you're all very aware of all of them. But I'm going to give you some interesting thoughts to put in there, little ideas, little nuggets that might help you. First and foremost, you need to do a lot of listening. Everybody tells you to listen to recordings, but I'm saying actively listen. Actively listen means you turn on Outdoor Overture, LA, Tom Hooten, and you have the trumpet in your hand. You blow air, you press down the buttons, and you hear Tom Hooten coming out of the bell. That's called active listening. By the end of that time, you do that 100 times, your musical mind thinks you sound like Tom Hooten. Active listening. Also, singing every excerpt, every phrase, buzzing every excerpt, every praise. A lot of these things don't take chops, they take mind. we can only buzz and play so many hours in a given day. You can actively listen, you can sing your parts, you can buzz your parts, you can also do wind patterns. Marie Speziali, famous trumpet teacher, big on the wind pattern. Blow air, press down the buttons, tongue the notes. You don't need to waste your chops to get all of that done. You have to own all of that literature. And then lastly, in the practice process, I want to show you some slides where I sort of made exercises or little etudes out of excerpts so that eventually I owned those excerpts. So I'm going to try to share that screen with you. Hold on. All right, I'm hoping to share a screen with you. That's going really well. Ah, desktop. There it is. Bam. All right, I'm hoping I'm sharing Inspiration on America with you. See that? That's the original, right? And what I'm talking about is making these exercises. So I've surrounded that lick. I could play it for you, but I'm not in very good shape right now, so it would show you. But anyway, the opening is, there it is in C trumpet. Then you play it up a step. Then you play it up another step. And you play it back down closer to where you started. And then when you go back to the first excerpt, it sounds incredibly better than when you started. You can make all of these kind of exercises out of any set of excerpts. I can show you another one that does all of the slurs in Copland's Outdoor Overture, right? You got an octave, you got a ninth, you've got a tenth. So you make etudes out of those slurs, which makes you a better trumpet player. So I'll show you like the Outdoor Overture ones that can show you how that works out, and that will make your life a little bit easier because you've created just like a slur. Can you see that? So in order to get the ba-da-da, so you just make yourself an etude out of that little slur. And then when you get ready to go, it's a lot easier because you've been doing it in an exercise. All right, so that's the stopping of the share. So those are the exercises that you do to enhance that practice session. Started with the active listening, the singing, the buzzing, the wind patterns, and then you create exercises out of all the little episodes that are challenging in each of the excerpts. Then plug them back into the excerpts and you sound fantastic. And you own the excerpt. All right, now we get to the third thing that I told you about, execution. The day of the audition, the day of the interview, the day of the chair test. How do you make sure that you bring to the table all the work that you did? First, you spend a little time breathing. That's the free gas that runs the trumpet. So we take time to breathe. You make sure you have a good sleep plan in place for the day before. You make sure that you're well hydrated. Make sure that you have food. Bring food in your case in case things run long, in case they run out of time. You never know. Always have something to eat in your food, in your case. Your appearance, clothes, the choice of things that you wear, Women, make sure you don't wear clickety-clackety heels that you can hear behind a screen. Don't wear clothes that are anything other than business, professional clothing. Nothing is sexy, nothing is cute, nothing is trendy. It's nothing that would cause a person to notice your appearance. I'm in my house, I have on a black suit, making a video. I could have on a t-shirt, it wouldn't matter. Yes, it would. And one more thing about your appearance, people always forget about body posture. Body posture is the way you move, the way you walk into a room, the way you answer questions. Someone asks you a question, you look at them, you speak their name, you answer their question. If they ask you a question, you go like this. That's not offensive, but it's a body language that is not welcoming. Make sure that you sit yourself in a professional fashion, that you stand with both feet on the ground, no tapping, no putting your foot on the wall, leaning. Everything needs to be very squared up. That way you look and seem like the professional and the job winner that you are. All right, and finally, I spoke about the follow-up. Follow-up to the whole event. Were you successful? Did you get the job? Did you get the call back? Did you make first chair? If so, good. File away all these things that you did for the next time, or maybe for a student that you will be able to help their process go a little bit more smoothly. If it didn't go well, you need to go back and honestly assess where things fell off the rails. Was it your preparation? Were you unable to execute all of the preparation that you did because you were hungry or tired? Or did you not actually really get in and do the work necessary to sound good? If you didn't, you'll do it next time. Whatever you do, if you give 150% of yourself to all of these processes, you will end up with the right job for you. There's something for everybody out there. And don't ever think that you don't know where you're headed or where you're going to end up. I was getting my doctorate because I was going to be a college teacher. I took an Army Field Band audition and won. I had no intentions of spending a career in the military. 27 years later, I couldn't be happier with the choices that I made. So remember, each and every time you have an opportunity, you should take it and do the very best that you can, because no telling, one job leads to another job, this person leads to another person, and before you know it, you've made yourself a career in music. And that's a really happy place to be. Thanks so much for your time today. I hope that you will continue to support ITG and all that they do for all of you trumpet players out there in the world. And I'm glad to be one of you. Hope you have a nice day. Thanks.